where we're joined by Gilad Erdan, who serves as Israel's ambassador to the UN, here on the couch with us in New York. Happy to have you with us this morning. Obviously, our thoughts, our prayers with your entire nation. What can you tell us this morning is the latest of what's happening in Israel?
Thank you for having me. These are devastating days for all Israelis. And as you showed your viewers, the numbers are unfathomable. I mean, we experienced an unprecedented attack during our Jewish holidays, on the Jewish Sabbath. I mean, hundreds of Israeli civilians were butchered in the streets. Grandparents and the elderly were taken, dragged from their homes into Gaza. Mothers with their babies, sometimes only the babies, were taken hostage. It's really unfathomable. And 600, I hope everyone understands, 600 fatalities in Israel proportionally is like having here 20,000 American fatalities. 20,000 people who are being butchered, massacred by these savage terrorists. It's our 9/11. We should all understand it. It's our 9/11, and from today on, things will never be in Israel as they were. But we are strong. We are a resilient people. We've gone through hardships, and we will win also this war. We will prevail.
You know, Ambassador, you just put that into a really interesting perspective. So the equivalent of 20,000 Americans, your 9/11, you know, we fought back after our 9/11. What do you think when you hear a Democratic congressman in this country, Ilhan Omar, say, you know, it's time for a ceasefire?
I'm not going to comment directly to Ilhan Omar. I said many times in the past what I think about the squad and their anti-Semitic views. We're not going to listen to anyone right now. We are fighting for our people. You know, today we have the Security Council of the UN that will be convened. We expect everyone, those who support the democratic values, liberal values, we expect all of them to support Israel, to condemn explicitly Hamas, and to say that they support 100% our right to defend ourselves. We don't want any lectures now explaining us how to do it, what means to use. We are going to use every means at our disposal, because you know what? We are fighting exactly like you fought against ISIS or against Al-Qaeda. These barbaric terrorists, they have the same ideology. Hamas, we should all understand who is Hamas. They're not looking to compromise or to have a dialogue with Israel. They only want to annihilate the one and only Jewish state. Their charter says, it's loud and clear, you should butcher every Jew that you meet. And that's what they did on the Jewish holiday. They butchered, like during the Holocaust, you know, hundreds of kids, babies. Our daughters are missing. There are so many people who are still missing. And we are now, you know, we are committed now to prevent these atrocities from happening again. And we will do it.
Do you believe you'll get that support from both the current administration in the United States and the UN? When you look at the UN, the amount of resolutions they passed that focus on Israel, condemning Israel, do you really believe they'll coalesce at this moment? Will you have the space necessary to get the retribution that Israel needs?
Look, I'm not naive, and I've been serving and representing Israel at the UN for the last 3 years. I know all the moral distortions of the UN and the automatic majority against Israel. But today we expect everyone, and first and foremost, you know, the free world, the democratic world. Israel is at the forefront of fighting terrorism, of fighting radicalism. We can all see the terrible pictures coming from Israel every day. So I'm not naive, but I hope that this time they will all understand what needs to be done, and that is full support, full backing to the State of Israel in our fight against terrorism, exactly as we were all united to back and support the free world, the democratic world, when we all needed to eliminate ISIS, because we realized they want to annihilate us, our way of living, our values. That's what we are facing now in Israel, coming from Gaza.
So you'll be asking for full support for what needs to be done, in your words. So what does need to be done?
It's a very tough and hard question because obviously I cannot share our military's plan on TV. We don't want them to be prepared. But as you said, and I believe everyone understands, that we don't want to hear these calls to restraint, for calm of both sides. We keep hearing these. It's coming basically from the UN and the UN's leadership. So these immoral equation between the barbaric terrorists, those who attacked us, and Israel, the democratic, the only democracy, liberal democracy in the Middle East that is defending its civilians from these barbaric terrorists. We don't want to hear these calls. We're not going to listen to them. We're going to use every means at our disposal in order to fully obliterate the terrorist infrastructure of Hamas. And this time it must happen because it's about our existence, it's about our future as the one and only Jewish state in the world, in the Middle East, surrounded by enemies.
Ambassador, it's unfathomable. You know, the administration I worked for, the Trump administration, you were there on that beautiful sunny day, September 15th, 2020, when we had peace accords coming since 1996, first time since 1996. And now here we are, September of 2023, a much different story.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.